gentlemen, here at the last day of the 51st IFTDO World Conference and Exhibition 2025, I think we're ready to move on with this keynote before we go to have lunch together. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are more than honored as today we are graced with the presence of the former Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy of the Republic of Indonesia. He is also the former Deputy Governor of Jakarta. He is also a visionary entrepreneur and investor. Ladies and gentlemen, here today, this morning, we're more than honored to have our speaker come and join us up here on the stage. Please come and join me in giving a big round of applause, Mr. Sandiaga Uno. Good morning. Selamat pagi, Bapak. Please do come and join us. Hello. How are you? Apa kabar, Bapak? Please do take your seats, get yourself comfy, and our moderator, the one and only President of IFTDO, Futurist and Advisor PT Todak Nusantara Group, Mr. Sheikh Faleigh bin Sheikh Mansor. This is going to be a very exciting session, so let's start with a big energy. Let's give a big round of applause for our panel. And Mr. President, we give the stage to you.
Hello. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you.
My brother Sandiaga Uno, Bapak Sandi.
And congratulations.
Thank you.
For the achievement to bring IFTDO after 51 years to Jakarta for the very first time.
Yes.
So welcome to Indonesia.
Indonesia, applause. Sepatutnya ke Malaysia.
Sepatutnya ke Malaysia,
Yeah,
but you are helping the sectors that used to be under my portfolio.
Yes.
Tourism, because every one of you coming to Indonesia boosts the KPI of the current tourism minister, and please stay here longer.
Yes. They
and
have
spend
been
some money shopping.
Yeah.
Because that's quality tourism.
Yes. In fact, when you were the Minister of Tourism and Economy Creative Indonesia, you went to Malaysia. We met there again after so long.
Yes, we met few times.
Few times after that also. Then I told you that we have this IFTDO, and I decided to tell the board that enough Malaysia. I also coming here. In Malaysia sudah 3 kali. It's already 3 times. So then we decided to convince the board that let's come here for the first time, and Alhamdulillah.
Thank you for the board to bring IFTDO to Indonesia.
Thank you, the board.
Hopefully going to be a memorable experience.
Yes. So to the foreign and to the board of IFTDO, allow me to brief and introduce our keynote speaker for today, Bapak Sandiaga Uno. I know Sandi through Bushinta many years ago when I used to have an Entrepreneurial magazine. I was wearing my reporter hat, interviewing all the Indonesian, Brunei, Singapore, Malaysia entrepreneurs and feature them in my magazine that I sponsored, because young entrepreneurs do not get a call from media because they are not rich yet. So being an entrepreneur myself when I was 18 is not easy, but Alhamdulillah, I also was given opportunity through New Straits Times Indonesia, because a friend of mine is there. So I wanted to give us the same platform for them. So what I did is we published that magazine that you know. In fact, I remember you called me the magazine man. Yes. Because I'm the only guy in Malaysia who actually promoting Indonesian startups, Alhamdulillah. But it's not about Indonesian startup, it's just startup. I even help many other countries startup as well, inshallah. So, then Pak Sandi has been a visionary, a futurist, investors, self-made billionaire. You are my idol, Pak Sandi. You know, I told Bushinta, thank you very much for introducing to Pak Sandi. Let's give him applause, guys, Pak Sandiaga Uno. And I followed your journey. All your videos, inshallah, is very inspiring for myself. In fact, for the rest of the world as well. So thank you very much for being you.
Thank you.
And humility is what I conclude from Pak Sandi. other than knowledge and everything else, humility is what I'm learning every day, and I think the best for any man to acknowledge what the purpose of them in this life, inshallah. So you have answered all my questions about humility. and you went into politics. Maybe there's a call, yeah, because you have done everything. You want to contribute more, and the only way to contribute more is to be a leader of the nation. You went to became the deputy governor of Jakarta, and quickly enough you went to a presidential election to become wakil president, yeah, Cawapres. That is the deputy president campaign, yeah, together with President Prabowo now. After the election, you went in as the Minister of Economy, Creative and Tourism. And you have done marvelous job. I followed everything because I formed my Futurist Foundation in 2010 to empower economy creative. Bukan game lompat-lompat or jumping game and shooting game, but gamification. I've done a lot of projects with schools to gamify chemistry, gamify psychology, and also now, currently, inshallah, with my friends in Finland and a few more other bodies, we are trying to gamify ADHD therapeutic game. So maybe we can help the ADHD also. So, and you have done a lot by going to many villages throughout Indonesia, from Aceh to Papua, and empower the villages, especially the micro SMEs, for them to be independent. And what I love about Indonesia Energy is the independency. You have not spoiled by the forefathers of subsidy, where I'm sorry, in Malaysia, we have been spoiled, especially the Malay, because we've been given so many subsidy to empower us in a way. But frankly, to me personally, it doesn't help. I was the youngest entrepreneur in Malaysia, certified by Malaysia World Record in 1997. I've been advocating that young people should be given chance to be entrepreneur and leader. But then again, the implementation of young entrepreneur thing is subsidy, and it's wrong because you lost the entrepreneurship. But what you did here is the best. You followed through what maybe Bapak Sukarno, independency and mandiri and everything else from the forefathers of Indonesia, to be independent for you to be better of yourself. Not just be independent in terms of income, but also ilmu. Knowledge is important. So your programs so inspiring to me, as I have to share to every one of the foreign delegates and my IFTDO board member.
Thank you.
So without further ado, you have a slide, I believe.
Yeah, I will just very quickly.
Yeah, so I'm going to let you to continue with your slide. I'm going to go down and come back for the moderator session.
We can stay here, no problem.
Okay.
We can quickly flip over the slides. I know you guys are probably flooded by many presentations. I'll keep it very short. So once again, thank you very much for Ibu Shinta for introducing me to Sheikh Faleigh many years ago. And I believe Ibu Shinta created the School of Shinta. So many Indonesian young entrepreneurs go through the School of Shinta. And one Malaysian. And we have an alumni group now that we meet every now and then to gossip about Ibu Shinta. But she taught us very early digital marketing, entrepreneurship, and many other important pillars of how you build your business. I would like to also thank Dr. Patty Phillips, who is the CEO of the ROI Institute and IFTDO chairman, for bringing the conference here to Indonesia, and definitely to the president of IFTDO, Sheikh Faleigh. I would like to start with my own experience building human capital within my organizations and also my transformations from the private sectors to the public sectors, because it's completely different sets of HR in terms of mindsets, in terms of goals, in terms of what takes them. And this is what I believe where we need to be adaptive, in particular within the digital era. So my first slide is explaining how adaptive leadership and organizational transformations are very, very key in terms of building a very successful program in terms of empowering your human capital. I call this a 3I. What is 3I? The first I is innovations. The core value that we need to empower our human capital, our HR group, is innovations, the culture of innovations. In the private sectors, we could relate very quickly that you either innovate or you become obsolete. But in the government, it is quite challenging because the culture is to make your job safe and stable, while your compensation structure is also fixed. So the question is, why I should have the responsibility to innovate if I'm not incentivized to innovate? So there are changes and transformations, and now within the Indonesian government sectors, every single career promotions must start with what we call project perubahan or change project. What change are you going to do in order for you to get this type of promotions, changes, and innovations that would be needed in the organizations? Without that change projects, without that implementations of the change project that represents innovations, you will not get the promotion. So that's one of the first I that we're seeing now across organizations. The second I is integrations. And at the core of integrations is communications. How you integrate certain functions from an organization that is as small as maybe 20 to 30 people to a large organizations that actually put 120,000 people to work when I used to work for the Jakarta government. We have 120,000 employees. How do you integrate from different functions to have the same objective, the same goals? The third I is the most difficult, is inclusion. Here, I am very happy because we have diversity. But when I walk into organizations in Indonesia, it's also would be apparent that it is an alpha male dominated. Like my last week conference call with Sheikh Faleigh, there are like 8 guys on the Zoom meetings, each yapping and trying to be like the leaders and, being an alpha male. And we said that we have to invite Ibu Shinta because she would be bringing in calm. And women needs to be represented in all decision making. So that's why very early on in the 2000-ish, when I started my business, I was the first one to introduce a C-level leader from the woman top leadership in our organizations. And suddenly, when a woman comes into the boardroom, the conversation changes. we use different languages. We cannot tolerate certain behaviors. So that's sort of like the inclusions that we would need. And when I walk into a government sectors, it's also male-dominated. We started introducing women leaders. So when I left the government in October 2024, I would like to report to this very prestigious IFTDO sessions that more than 50% of our top echelons are represented by women. So that's the inclusions part that I think we need to make sure. 82% of the global executives, this is the data that I've organized from Deloitte that I quoted, must undergo structural transformations within the next 3 years or they will perish. So this structural transformations must include the 3I, the innovations, integrations, and inclusions, while the key challenges remains resilience and also making programs such as upskilling, reskilling, and new skilling leaders. They need not just upskill, they need reskill, and they need new skill to become agile, empathetic, and data-driven. This is something that I believe, Sheikh Faleigh, we need to empower our human capital going forward. The second slide that I want to present is the rise of AI. Now, in the past, AI would only be relevant to tech companies or tech executives. But right now, AI is far-reaching into our daily life. So therefore, we need to prepare for our workforce, in particular digital workforce, which is everybody now, since every one of you hold a mobile phone and you become a digital warrior. So you need to be AI savvy. This is the AI age. And soon, before we know it, we're going to enter the quantum era. Quantum era is coming to us after the AI era. AI will be the next few years, but then the quantum era can end. So the AI should be an asset to human capital, not a threat. We need to have our mindset that AI will help create good quality jobs rather than destroy jobs. I believe Indonesia's and the global issues now is to provide good quality jobs based on AI. And World Economic Forum, the organizations that we're going to create here with Ibu Shinta and you, hopefully, inshallah, have said that 44% of employee skill will shift in 2028 due to AI and automations. My daughter, who lives in New York, just got laid off because her job was replaced by AI. Although she is in the creative industries, but some of the creativity that human has been able to produce have now been replaced by AI. So this is something that we need to make sure we have an answer to. Next is learning ecosystems and corporate universities. This is going to be our answers to ever-changing and evolving human capital. And this is where the forefront of IFTDO is how you empower ecosystems of learning in every single organizations that we're involved. 70% of global employees seeks more personalized, customized, also digitized experience, flexible and yet relevant to the learning opportunities. We believe that empowering a corporate university styles in every organization, and that's why I'm so happy with Todak being involved here, is to make sure that part of our everyday's life is to incorporate learning ecosystems. So in all of my organizations, this is actually a part of daily life is what do you learn today? What sort of like lesson learns that being taken, whether you're visiting tourism village, Desa Wisata, or you're building creative economy in the Regencies, or even when you're trying to empower micro, small entrepreneurs. Empowering SMEs and inclusive workforce is definitely going to be the mantra. Indonesia's economy is 60% SMEs, and 97% of jobs are created by SMEs. So, as chairman of IFTDO, Dr. Patty, I think we need to include more SMEs in this assembly, and I think they are the backbone, but yet they're underrepresented in key decisions as well as thought-forming sessions.
You're from Kadin.
I used to be at the Indonesian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Kadin, where I championed and said that we need to open up our doors and have more SMEs participations. Because SMEs really, if not for SMEs, we have about 60 million SMEs, and majority of them are micro entrepreneurs. They need to be represented because of their impact to the economy. And yet, 70% of the SMEs are not digitalized. So the job is to digitalize these SMEs, making sure AI would be part of their core business activities and making them ready to enter the digital era. And the focus of the digitalizations now that Indonesia government is also trying to empower the cooperatives. 80,000 cooperatives are just being created in the 85,000 villages across Indonesia. So you need to have financial inclusions, you need to have creative financing, you also need to have digital marketing and entrepreneurship. So yeah, this is something that we need to look at. And to close, I would like to thank Chairman and the President and everybody coming here to ensure that we have very vibrant job creations and good job, quality job being available for the Gen Z and the young generations. So thank you, terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Pak Sandi. Excuse me, I just need to go back to my table. I actually forgot to bring my card. If not, I'm gonna end up chatting with you for 1 hour. So they reminded me to follow the the question that I have promoted, because I will have so many questions for you. Okay, thank you, Pak Sandi. Yeah, let's begin with my first question. You have been in the forefront, as I said earlier when I introduced to you, as a self-made billionaire, from zero to hero, and
Zero to hero, hero to zero.
No. You maintain
Politically. If you're familiar with Indonesian politics.
No, I think it's just.
He mentioned I ran for the Indonesia presidential election in 2019. I found out that I was 5 years too early. Timing is everything, not only in business, but also in politics. But now I'm very happy that my ex-running mate, Pak Prabowo, is now the president of Indonesia.
I mean, alhamdulillah, yeah. But I think it's just a phase. I know it is, inshallah. So you've been in the forefront from corporate to government, yeah, and now back to corporate. But you're not back to corporate. You're back to being full philanthropist and visionary and sharing your passion to build a better Indonesia, inshallah. But as you mentioned just now, the SMEs, especially the micro SMEs, who think that money is on everything. Number one focus is money. Number two focus is money. Number three focus also is money. And they forgot or maybe ignorant or do not know that reskilling is important, and not just relying on a third party to sell their product, but they themselves need to know also the entrepreneurship, the finance, the management, and everything else, and not just creating. Hence we have many perajin, in the village. They do hard work and everything, but they still don't have much money. I went to see petani, farmers, fishermen, batik woven, craft, but their livelihood is still bad. I feel sad that it's still happening, and that's why the calling for me to form the Futurist Foundation is to help whatever that we can. Not just money. Money is not important. The willingness, the network, the sincerity to help is not much. It's very less. They want to get it more. So how you think that we can improve this as a government, as a Kadin, Chamber of Commerce, as entrepreneur, as everyone here, as HR practitioner, how we can contribute so that not just us, even the farmers and everything can benefit from reskilling and training in Indonesia?
Well, many years ago, in 2005, I had the chance to lead Indonesia Young Entrepreneurs Associations as chairman. This is an organization that has 30,000 members of entrepreneurs below the age of 40, some of them early 20s. And when we take a survey, what is your primary concern for you to start a business and starting your entrepreneurial journey? Their first point is money. This is something that makes me realize that what we need to focus is changing that mindset. Money is everything, but not everything is money. So I changed the mantra for the young entrepreneurs. Before you get money, you need to go to a certain stage. So I will call, and it has nothing to do with my current parties, P3, PPP. First is pelatihan. So this is where your upskilling, reskilling, training is pelatihan. This is very, very important. Before you get that money part, the first P, even that you are already experienced, you need to get that skills right. So pelatihan or training is the number one step. The second most important areas for you, even before the money, is the second P, which is pemasaran or marketing. You need to market not just your products, but just market yourself. You need to market your ideas. You need to sell the concept. Most entrepreneurs are good communicators, that they are lousy at closing deals. And closing deals means that you're able to sell across your concepts, your ideas, your products, your services, and create closure to that process. So the second P is pemasaran, marketing. I learned a lot from Ibu Shinta on how to do marketing, in particular digital marketing. And the third P, ladies and gentlemen, is permodalan. That means that financial capital comes last. So with all these three, with the training that you are already getting, with the marketing skills that you're already having, with the financial capital that you're obtaining, then you will get that result, which is money. But money is not the end, because your journey to be entrepreneurs is not just money. It is beyond money. And what is beyond money? Then you go into the philosophy of how you become We call it in our concept in Islam, khairun nas anfa'ahum linnas. That basically the best of humans are the types that brings benefits for others.
Thank you. Before I say thank you. For over 30 years, what you just said is a life learning process. It always reminds me why I decided to be an entrepreneur in 1994, even 1993, but they told me, go back first, you're not old enough to register a company. It's to find the purpose of life. It's not just grow up, go to school, go to university, work, and routine life. It's all about beyond that. And that 3 pillars, the 3P that you mentioned just now, is what I have been again and again and again advising the entrepreneurs back in Malaysia since the 90s. Here I help also. And seeking for the perfect entrepreneur you will never find. But continue the journey of sharing the knowledge is what it's all about. So I totally believe and practice and remotivated today after you mentioned these 3 Ps. Inshallah, we will do it together, inshallah. You mentioned just now, Bapak Sandi, that 82% of the global executive see the need of structural transformation. In your view, what are the key pillars for successful transformation, especially for the government-linked companies, BUMN, they call it here.
Yeah, SOE.
SOEs,
State-owned
yes,
enterprises.
State-owned enterprise. And the SME. What do you think?
To have an adaptive leadership. And what is adaptive leadership? Because time changes very fast. Only a few years ago, we have COVID. If we fail to adapt, we are not going to be able to go through COVID. But every single one of us adapt. We adapt to being at home, doing the works through digital and virtual meetings, and many other adaptations that we did. So adaptive leadership is basically staying true to your values, but being flexible at executions. So your value grounded, but when you execute as a leaders, you need to be adaptive and you need to be flexible in order for you to achieve your goal. So SOEs are very, very unique because it's an enterprise, should be profit-making, but they have public service obligations because they're owned by government. And I think leaders would need to have a 80-20 or 70-30% rules, whereby leaders of SOE should do more listening. Listening rather than speaking. This is something that I believe effective leadership, because from the research that I've been receiving and from my experience, actually more than 50% of problems is being solved by listening to the problems. Not just problem solving, but by listening, you already solve more than 50% of the issues. So being ready to pivot when there is time to need, and that's why I kept on pivoting from private sectors, pivot to entrepreneurials, and then to politics and government. And actually, okay with it is already an achievement. Because, you know, there are some of my friends who are no longer ministers having issue with post-power syndromes. Because they are very used to when you walk in, everybody would bow their head and said that, please come in. And I came in just now, only Bushinta and you, only two. Normally it was like hundreds of people accepting you. So being adaptive, that, life changed. And if you pivot yourself, and being a leader is sometimes you need to not just change policy, but change yourself. And leaders who are adaptive would be able to respond, to anticipate, to co-create. Very important. To co-create. And another word that is very, very important is lead with empathy. Chairman would be agreeable as the president. You need to lead. There are so many issues out there in the world. You have trade wars, you have actual wars, the current wars that we're facing. So time is tough. We need to lead by empathy.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Amir was just speaking just now. Dr. Amir, please stand up for us. Let's give him applause. Dr. Amir, other than former CEO of Omantel, chairman of Oman Energy, and many other seniority, he also PhD in AI. And yeah, sorry, you saying? Oh yeah, after this. So and the slide that he was sharing with us, how AI you can be. Empathy that makes a leader who knows how to use AI. If I'm correct. So empathy, it is very important. Adaptive is another one. You're right. Not just politicians. We have many HR managers here who are their forefathers who have left, and they also sometimes, some of them will also leave, being a pensioner. So last time HR manager, you hire, fire CEO even, So HR, what I remember, I left HR and HRD world when I organized 2006 conference, IFTDO in Malaysia, and being a entrepreneurial monk myself. But what I remember, a lot of my friends in HR, Malaysia, Indonesia, and the rest of the world, they do have that syndrome as well after they pension, that they can't hire and fire anyone. Not their wife, hopefully no. Not their children, nobody else. And they find it difficult to adapt. Entrepreneurs find it difficult to adapt once they bankrupt or once they fall. But I always tell them, adapt. If you have to work for someone, work. Because entrepreneurship is not just by owning a company. What I've been practicing and what I've been sharing across Malaysia, Indonesia to all these young entrepreneurs, telling them that the real meaning of entrepreneurship is your mindset. And here, not just about money, not just opening up business. Being an entrepreneur means you have an entrepreneurial mindset to succeed, either with your own company or whichever company that you work for. Hence why entrepreneurship mindset in a company, when employee have entrepreneurship mindset, they became a career leader. So yeah, adaptive is very important. Thank you. Next question is, you mentioned just now, the World Economic Forum states that 44% of the employee skill will change by 2028. Obviously, we have Gen Z that we are dealing now with. I believe HR managers here will agree that it's different. Yeah? Correct? The Gen Z, to deal with Gen Z is different. There are also, some of them are Gen Z also. And what more with the coming generation Alpha? I have 7 children. So these are all the after 2000, year 2000 born, and they're going to be more and more aggressive, self-minded, and all this. So in the Indonesian context, what sector do you think are the most at risk and most ready for this Gen Alpha that is coming?
The most exciting sectors are the creative economies. The creative economies here in Indonesia, there are 17 subsectors, from the heavyweight of culinary, F&B, fashions, handicrafts, to games, to animations, music, film. And Indonesia, right now, number 3 in the world in terms of contributions to GDP from the creative economy. Number 1 is the United States of America, with close to 15% of the GDP being contributed by creative economy. So America have Hollywood, they have from the culinary, they have the McDonald's, the Kentucky Fried Chickens, and from the music, they have jazz, country music. Korea is number 2, South Korea. South Korea have the Korean dramas that is so popular. And South Korea have music, K-pop. Everybody loves K-pop, right? Ibu Shinta loves it, and she actually dances quite well. And then, what do you mean you don't think so?
I don't know.
You haven't seen her dance. Are you going to have some music tonight? And for the food, they have the Korean restaurants. By the way, South Jakarta, by restaurant per capita, is one of the highest in the world in terms of the concentrations of Korean food. Yeah, in South Jakarta. That's where I live. Every other neighborhood, there will be 3 or 4 Korean restaurants.
So I already become Pondok Indah citizen.
Oh, you're Pondok Indah.
So I have to go
Are
there.
you still the type of the Padang food or pagi sore, right? So Indonesia is now number 3, and we have music. You all love dangdut. Many of Indonesians is dangdut koplo. That's correct. Dangdut koplo. Dangdut is now recognized from Turkey to even to Japan.
Turkey? Koplo?
Yeah, Turkey loves Indonesian dangdut music, not just Malaysians.
Okay.
And in Korea, in the professional women volleyball league, it is being used as a stretching music. So when the athletes going out to stretch, the dangdut music is being played. If Korea have the Korean dramas, Indonesians is known for horror movies.
So much.
Chairman,
so much.
You should watch Indonesian horror. It's very terrifying.
Patty, just to add, Patty, Malaysian only sees Indonesian horror movie until we are scared of Indonesians.
If you believe Exorcist is terrifying, Indonesian horror movie is 10 times more horrifying. And we have many ghosts. Indonesian from every different regions of Indonesia have separate ghosts. You only have probably the type of ghosts in the Western. Probably Dracula. Indonesia have pocong, And this is people who comes from the grave coming out. And we have suster ngesot. It's a nurse dressed in a nurse, and she would not walk because she was hit by a car, so she would crawl. So Indonesian horror movies, before you leave, Patty, you need to watch. And definitely Indonesian food. Who likes rendang here? Here, few. Rendang has been nominated by CNN as the most delicious food 5 years in a row. So this is from West Sumatra. So to answer your question, it's creative economy. But we, I think, need to make sure that our mindset has to be shifted. The creative economy cannot tolerate a workforce that stay still. They need to be dynamics. They cannot be constant. They need to be upskilled, reskilled, and new skilled. Not every 5 years, guys. Hello, now every 2 years you need to go back to the pit stop and have a mind. You know, I spent 10 years in the government, Patty. After 10 years, I went out and I felt I don't know much. So the first thing I did after I stepped down October 2024 from the ministry is to get myself retrained. So 2 weeks, I went to China, I went to the US to get myself refreshed of the current. And I found it's too late. 10 years is just too long. So I believe now with the Gen Z coming, you know, every available time that you have for downtime, you need to continue to reskill yourself.
Thank you. Talking about the horror movie, Patty, I don't know whether you have the time, but I'll send some videos.
But we have questions from the floor, from the chairman and...
Yes, please.
Yeah, just a comment. I wondered why when I logged into my Netflix in the hotel, there were so many horror movies but now I know.
In the TV.
Yeah, in the Netflix.
Yes.
Netflix have a lot of Indonesian horror movies, yes.
Amir.
Yeah, thank
please.
you very much, Sheikh.
Thank you, Dr. Amir.
Thank you for the opportunity, and thanks for your kind words. They mean a lot coming from you. But allow me, before my question, just a comment. I see before me here, before all of us here, I feel privileged being right before you. I see, you know, for me, I know you have a lot of traits for leadership, starting with vision downwards. For me, true leadership is 3 words: courage, empathy, and humility. And I see before me somebody who exemplify all the 3. I saw courage, you know, going to be elected 5 years early, that's a lot of courage. Empathy, you understood everybody around you, you understood what's happening around you, and definitely humility. And my humility is still downloading. Yours is fleshed there. My question is, I love your 3 Ps, but I'm more interested in the first P. I went for a course in Singapore because they're far ahead of us in venture capital. I was a board member of the first Omani government venture capital, so I needed to learn. I went to Singapore, and they told us what the one takeaway from that 1-week course is you do your due diligence on the individual, not on the product. And we found that in Oman, the problem is the individuals. They don't know how to market themselves. So what's the solution? You seem to know a lot about that. You know, how do we help young people market themselves well and get the right valuation and sustain the growth? Thank you.
Thank you so much for that question, Pak Sandi.
That's true. And I was private equity investors. I started Indonesia's first private equity firm. We went public in 2013. And the lessons that I learned during my 15 or so years investing with private equity and venture capital mindset is that the people behind every single numbers that you're seeing, be it in the financial statement, in productions, metrics, would be the people. And to do diligence on the people, it takes not a science but arts. You cannot really determine how the integrity of the people just by a questionnaire or by just a simple 5-10 minutes discussions. The best way to learn about people, and this is also in the hadith, is to travel with them. When you travel with them, you see the good, the bad and the ugly side of the people. So I know it's very hard when you're about to invest as venture capital to a firm but bringing them to conference, because you typically spend between 3 months, if it's not a competitive process, 3 to 6 months actually learning about the company before writing your check. It's a good time for you to take them around, maybe doing some sports together, or maybe doing some conference in Jakarta, or maybe next year IFTDO should go to Bali, hopefully. Bring them to conference and see what sides of the characters that you're going to be investing in.
Maybe also, I may bring them together to Indonesia to watch horror movies. Then you see how fear they can be. How they can take fear.
Fear is one of the greatest drivers.
Yes, exactly. So horror movies, Indonesian.
But since His Excellency mentioned the hadith, I think we as Muslims have not really looked into the power of the content, the substance of many hadiths. One I would refer to here in the context of what you said earlier is the power of niyyah. So when you are niyyah, or intention for those who don't speak Arabic, so the power of niyyah, when you're talking to these people, you need to understand what drives them. What are their intentions? What is their purpose? So niyyah is close to purpose, So and I say to my people that they've really undermined or misunderstood the power of niyyah. And إنما الأعمال بالنيات. All deeds are governed by intentions.
Thank you. Can we close that? I think, yes, Dr. Gautam, of course, one of the senior IFTDO from 1975.
I'm delighted to extend a personal welcome to you. Shinta has already requested me to sign my book, went as a personal copy, and I think she did me the honor of taking it to you. But that is not the purpose of my remarks. A person like you tempts me and others like me to ask questions to which there have been elusive answers. And the question is very simple and yet complicated. Faleigh, and I conferred upon him a doctorate last evening, Dr. Faleigh has been aspiring to initiate an entrepreneurship movement in Indonesia and Southeast Asia, a part of which is that he is setting up a Southeast Asian chapter of IFTDO. Which brings me to my question. If you look at entrepreneurial characteristics through Asia, one thing in common beyond religious differences is they all believe in fate. Why didn't it work? Because fate did not think it to be so. Now that is a very worrying thought, because it takes the levers out of your hand and somebody somewhere upstairs is controlling you. I have no problems in dealing with that buddy because I deal with him in a way myself. But that is not the question. The question is, my work in Venezuela, Bolivia, and elsewhere establishes that they don't refer to fate. They refer to government, they refer to society, they refer to all sorts of things, but never to fate. Having given to you this formulation for this entrepreneurial enterprise building effort which Faleigh is planning to launch, and he has done some spade work in it, and there are capable colleagues here, what do you think would be a unifying theme between keeping it locally rooted and internationally feasible? How do you build upon this faith proneness and yet help them to grow global? Because one of the first things which we are trying to do in Indonesia is look at the knowledge base. For example, entrepreneurship for pensioners. Pensioners are not people meant to pray and go away. There is a lot of life left in them. So to put it simply, how do you stay local and yet grow global with the entrepreneurial spirit at the base of it. Your experience, your insights, your remarks tempted me to pose this question to you, which has been bothering me for a long time. All yours.
Sandy.
That's very deep. I would go back to 1997 when I lost my job being a professional during the Asian financial crisis. When I did not have an income, when I had to go back to my parents' house because I could not afford rent, when I lodged 10 applications and got 20 rejections because the economy is so bad. So other than faith, I think the unifying theme that would be locally rooted but have global acceptance would be resilience. Because in order for me to be resilient, other than having the faith that you would actually survive using and never ever underestimate a human being ability when they are facing difficulties to provide solutions for themselves. They suddenly could recognize some strengths that they were never thought. My family is not an entrepreneurial family. My mom is a teacher. My dad is a professional. I did not know that I have an entrepreneurial capability in me. But yet, through those resilient building time, I was able to build my firm from just 3 people in 1997-98 to right now, the group of companies that we have created over more than 25 years, we employ 30,000 people. And that's, I think, number one is faith, but if you need to say globally, it would be how to be resilient. And this is something that for us is, for me and Dr. Ali, probably faith would be like takdir, we call it. You mentioned Nia, we mentioned faith. But faith is always, or takdir is always where you have great preparations and you see opportunities and you are able to mix that with hard work and persistency, then you will be able to create resilience.
I think like many things you have done, sir, this will be recalled as a major contribution. Because again, this is one of those classical thoughts. In Sanskrit, we say, Atma Deepo Bhava, be a light unto yourself. And if you link up resilience with being a light unto yourself, fate recedes into the background. I think I reserve the right to quote this with reference to you and put it on the map of entrepreneurship with the help of people like Faleigh.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Sandy. 98, it's a big challenge for many, even for myself. I was 23, entrepreneur and lost everything. Resilience, until today, is all the what matters. And the passion of wanting to help people still, even though when you don't have money. Because I always tell people that, why do you think you must have money to help people? Your time, your knowledge is all it takes. So thank you for that, Pak Sandy. Thank you for that question, Dr. Gautam. In fact, Dr. Gautam have been non-stop calling me since April last year, Egypt, when we have 2024 IFTDO, and making sure that what's next after IFTDO, right? So that's why I was mentioning just now, like what Pak Sandy mentioned, that the people not be able to adapt, change after they leave a certain position. So in India, Dr. Gautam have created many entrepreneurship programs, even for the pensioners. Because for the pensioners, like you were in the corporate, You didn't know that you have the entrepreneurship in you. You know, but again, it's all about mindset and your heart and your resilience, not because of you coming from a DNA of entrepreneurs. Hence why the same case study, if I may, take your name and your journey as a case study that we want to share to the HR managers that is pensioning, to the HR practitioner, to everyone for that matter. We want to tell the person who's going to pension that you still have so much to contribute. You can be trainers in your respective fields. You just need to go for a train-the-trainer program. That's it. You can be the best trainer in the oil and gas industry for whatever specific department. So we will have a program. Hence why, alhamdulillah, the board have passed the bill that I mentioned to you just now, that we will form the IFTDO-ASEAN chapter based in Jakarta. And yes, thank you. And we will develop many, many programs, not just for the young, not just for the current workers, but also for the going to be pension workers, so that they will have entrepreneurship as one of the options. And the best options, frankly, other than being a trainer of their own field, if they have the sense of teaching, is also to be entrepreneur in other fields. One of the easiest is franchise, because it's proven track record and everything else, you know. Oh, Handy, our brother Handy Setiono was here yesterday. He wanted to learn how he can develop himself also, alhamdulillah. So yeah, thank you for that, Pak Sandi. Yes, please, Mark, all the way. He flew all the way from America, Mark, nation.
Just to say hello. So thank you for being here. Having never met nor spoken with you before, I think I speak for everyone that I could say, I get a real sense of your heart and how you present, and it's very transparent and authentic and very, very real. And that speaks even when words don't require anything. So speaking of heart, when I coach people and speak, I always have put forward this concept that the highest and best purpose you can have as a leader is sort of father the heart, or have a heart-centered, love-centered approach. So I feel like the highest and best purpose and use for us is to see leadership as love made visible. Curious what you think about that, if that resonates, and if so, how we encourage other leaders and younger leaders to develop the heart and lead a more purposeful life at work, not just when they leave. Thank you.
That's, I think it's a resounding yes. That would be, I would say, a great way, in fact, for the chapter to take something in center stage. It's basically going through the hearts, and Gen Z in particular. I have 2 Gen Z kids and 1 Gen Alpha. I think they are the generations that really do this work-life balance, and they take it to the heart, and sometimes too much. That's correct. So the key responsibility for us, I think, to communicate this more, using the platform, the channel that they understand, which is now not the typical 1-hour podcast or something that's written, because they would like snippets of anything below 17 seconds in the form of a TikTok post, or even something that would relate to them. And this is actually for IFTDO, and us being here needs to stay relevant. And I think talking to your heart continues to be relevant. It's just how you present it. It's how you sort of like package it in order to be able to relate to the younger generations.
So One question.
Yes, please, Dr. Atul.
I'm Atul Shah, the National President from India. This is not a talk, not a question on what you spoke, about how you spoke. We are a body of trainers and all of us learn to speak very well. We undergo courses. But when I heard you speak, one, you're very articulate. Two, you've been able to think on your feet. That presence of mind is, wonderful. Three, you've got a very delectable sense of humor, the way you linked it with the horror movies and got the audience involved. And four, the examples, anecdotes, stories, all hit the nail on the head. Now, we get this after many years of attending several programs. How did you develop this skill?
Please, person.
I think it must be my mom, because my mom is a teacher. And, I'm amazed. She's 84, and then every time, she still teach now, but on a, sometimes on a modified way, using Instagram and using YouTube. But every night before a teaching engagement or content creations, she would stand in front of a mirror and then practice. So I asked, Mom, why do you do that? Because you understand this, everything in your head. You've been doing this for more than 50 years. And she said, son, every day is a new day. And every new day is a chance for you to improve. So I hope I have improved today.
Yeah.
I did practice, especially in front of Ibu Sinta. I have to be on my best behavior. So thank you very much.
If I may
Yes,
come
yes,
back
please.
with a quick observation. I want to take from Mark, who is a global expert of matters of the heart, when he said leadership is love made visible.
Yes.
I was at a conference in Washington, D.C., political conference, and one of the audience asked me, why do Oman people love Sultan Qaboos, our late Sultan? And I said, because he loved them first. And he made his love more visible in everything he said, everything he did. And I think what you did today, you made your love for your country, for your people, for your culture, for your movies, visible for all of us. So you're a true leader, according to Mark.
Okay. Last question.
One, because I want to give opportunity to the Indonesian as well.
Yes, last question. Yeah, look, too much of India. First of all, Honorable Minister, thank you very much. I think I only ditto all whatever they have told. I have recently formed a consulting company which is known as Hriday Se in Hindi. It means straight from the heart. And I was thinking of a brand ambassador. You fit it well, so we'll talk about it later. So my question to you, one simple question. When there is a critical situation, heart over mind or mind over heart, how do you decide?
Personally.
This I learned from being in politics, is winning the heart and mind of the people. And in that order, sir, winning the heart and mind. It's always the heart first. Because the mind can rationalize. But the heart, as you say, straight from the heart. The heart doesn't think. We call it kolbu. We call it, it's in your soul. You have everything in your kolbu, in your soul. So when you are in difficult situations, and this is where women sometimes is a better advisors in this thing, is because men use their head too much and use the heart less. So I would bring in my wife or my mother to some of this tough, difficult questions, and actually it's a work in progress. You will never achieve perfections in this. It's always a journey for you to have to better yourself.
Thank you. My wife is sitting over there next to Joel. So she's the advisor now. Can stand up for me, Novi. So she was in UK for 21 years, then come back. She was the HR manager also. Now she's HR managing me. And it's not easy to work for HR manager now, I know. Because nobody.
You're lucky she's just an HR manager.
Oh my God.
In my case, she's finance minister.
Oh.
She's chairman of the board, key stakeholders.
I just hope she doesn't fire me. Thank you. Yes, one Indonesian, please. Thank you. Your name, please. Can you share the mic to her? Your name and where you're from, please. Thank you.
Hello, Pak Sandi. My name is Johanna from Indonesia. I have a simple question actually. Like you said before and Mr. Sheikh before, nowadays Indonesian, a lot of young people, right? So mine, I was born in 2001, which means I'm Gen Z. So I want to do a business too. So, but there's a challenge. A lot of people here already and in their business, right? They already have a business, they already have perspective about business, but can you give me tips and tricks how to facing them? Like, what should I do as a Gen Z? Because a lot of people already do it first. Like, what should I do? Something like that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Our first Gen Z. Give her a self applause. Thank you very much. Pak Sandi, please.
Gen Z, as I said earlier, would be the first generations that was born as a digital native. So they have, the Gen Zs, my kids, have different type of communications. So the tips and tricks, and we have Gen Zs in our workforce. Some do what Gen Z does, which is like every 2 to 3 years they would resign. But I always make Gen Zs feel that the companies that we have is part of their families. So some of them, after 2 to 3 years being out of our organizations, come back. And I ask why. There are 2 reasons what they're saying why they choose to go back to organizations. First is the communications, because we actually make it a culture in our organizations to have open communications, two-way, 360 communications. It's not just two-way, but 360 communications with all our workforce. Secondly, is the free lunch. We provide free lunch in our organizations. So, and discussions, communications, when you put them into a room where they have to eat anyway, is the best form of, and this is also in Hadith, when you eat, you have to eat together, and the best time to communicate is when you have a meal together. So these are the 2 things that I may want to share with you. Hopefully you'll be able to better communicate.
Thank you, Pak Sandi. Okay, we have running out of time, over too much, I think. So sorry for everybody. I know they're very hungry, but thank you, Pak Sandi. It's an honor for me, for Bushinta, and for all IFTDO board members for you to come and participate in this most historic moment of us after 51 years, the first time in Jakarta. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And with that, we wrap up this very fruitful session with a photo session together. Again, we'd like to thank Pak Sandiaga Uno. Terima kasih banyak, Pak. Such an honor to watch you up here on stage, share your thoughts, inspired so many people. And of course, to our moderator, Mr. Sheikh Faleigh, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, if you truly enjoyed that session, let's give another big round of applause for our speaker and our moderator. And ladies and gentlemen, what we can hear from that session was that I think everything is interconnected. Government plays a vital role in supporting businesses and SMEs so that they can grow and thrive. But in turn, these companies can create jobs and drive economic progress. However, people must also take responsibilities by upskilling or reskilling to meet the evolving demands of the job market, especially in today's digital era where AI is transforming the way we work. This is, I think, where IFTDO plays a big role by facilitating knowledge sharing, providing access to the global best practices, and supporting continuous learning for both individuals, institutions. And I think we can all agree that when government, businesses, people, and learning organizations work together in harmony, that's where real and sustainable development becomes possible. So with a lot of great key takeaways that we can get from this session, again, ladies and gentlemen, we are very honored to follow the session together with Mr. Sandiaga Uno. All right, so with that, at the 51st IFTDO World Conference and Exhibition 2025, after that very heartwarming session, thank you for your energy, ladies and gentlemen, and for your enthusiasm by asking questions and also making really great comments about how the presentations was delivered up on the stage. Again, we'd like to invite all of you to follow through the next agenda of our event. Now, ladies and gentlemen, since we still have a lot of keynotes and also discussions coming up, we want to make sure that everybody stays energized and fueled up. Now, we know that it's time for everybody to continue for lunch, so we're not going to hold you back for the next session. May everybody can take their lunch. So once again, Pak Sandi, terima kasih. Thank you. Hope to see you again soon.